Did you guys cheat in school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Universally, yeah.
Yeah.
With mixed results.
Yeah.
You ever get
Sometimes
caught?
I cheated my way into a bad grade.
Well, I have a caught story. I was in college. I was going to night school and I was studying Russian history. And I missed the test. It wasn't my fault. I had this long commute from work just to night school. And if there was any kind of weather at all, my 2-hour drive would become like 5. And I just couldn't make it in time. All right. So I'm taking the test the following week. He takes me and puts me in this like little supply closet with a desk. And I'm taking the test there all by myself with my backpack and everything. Like you wouldn't leave all your possessions in the classroom unattended. So I brought it. Of course, it has like the things I need, like a pencil or whatever. And I realized I have my book there with the answers in it. And this is not an open book test at all. So I put the book on my lap under the desk. And I'm just straight up like taking the test. There's no one. I'm by myself in this closet.
Been there
badly. Have you? So then without knocking, the professor opens the door and walks in on me. I do this thing where like with my knees, I push the book to the bottom of the desk.
Damn.
And he knew. I knew he knew, and he knew I knew that he knew. Like, all of that went down. And I think he was like, this is Russian history. Carry on.
What a cool teacher.
He just didn't ruin my life, which was kind of him.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Dude, in high school, I had like an arrangement with the guy in math class because I didn't want to do my math homework. I was very bored by it. It's like sophomore year. And I don't remember what the other class was, maybe like physics or something that I didn't mind. And he was in that with me, and we sat next to each other in both. And in the math class, the way the teacher would get homework every day, because there was daily homework, he would start coming down the aisles, going up and down, up and down. And we were both in the back. And so when he came down to check the paper of my friend, all he did was take a look and then like be like, okay, write in his book like so and so did it. And then as soon as he goes to the next person, his back's turned, me and him switch homeworks, and then he checks the same homework again. I get my credit, and we did the exact same thing in that science class. So, and it was like not hard homework we were even avoiding. It was like maybe 20-minute assignments, but it was just a thing of like, oh, like if we could just do this for no time, absolutely, we're doing that.
What?
I remember I in an Italian class in college, I wrote down a bunch of like all the conjugations for the first test for all the language stuff because I fucking hated it and I didn't want to learn it. And I remember like test 1, I'm like the sneakiest of sneaky. Like I'm barely, I have my test down because it's like a pamphlet style test, like 8 pages or whatever. And I just have my little card stuck under there, like every page, pull it out, look. By the end of that class, I'm like, book on the table, like looking at the card, like trying to figure it out. But she liked me. She probably knew the difference in scores, which were not good scores, mind you. But like the speaking tests we did, I was like flirting with F's every time because my knowledge was so low. And the written tests, which is the same fucking language, she'd be like, oh, well, you got a B-. That's literally inexplicable. Like that that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that class sucked. I don't think I ever cheated in a class that was actually like an important one.
I went so far as to go into the teacher's grade book and change the grades of previous tests that had been taken. So you don't need to cheat on the test.
God.
If you can go straight to where the records are kept, right?
Big brain cheating. That's like war game shit.
Big brain
You
cheating,
Mission Impossible fucking snuck in?
Small brain handwriting, though. Small brain handwriting. Okay. She did this shit in pencil, which I thought was odd. It's like it literally allows you to change things, and that's what that. If it'd been pen, I'd been like, nothing to be done here, but it was pencil. So like, but trying to carefully erase these tiny little squares and then like get the new grade in without it being like, what the fuck happened here, was clearly beyond me. And but I was smart. I didn't just change my grades. I gave myself like, maybe I'd made like a 73 on a test. Let's make that an 83 on like 3 or 4 important tests. I did the same thing to like 4 other kids.
Gave them boosts.
Yeah. So she came to me and she's like, I know it was you. She's like, it's just lies. I still remember lies on top of lies on top of lies. And I just sat there and I went, I have no idea what you are talking about. It appears that I've been the victim, as have been many others here. I just wonder why the grade book wasn't secured. If only.
Put a padlock on that thing.
My mom was like, was it you? And I was like, of course it was me.
Oh, that's cool. You could level with your mom.
Yeah.
My mom would have beat you.
So guess what, Mom? I have a surprise for you. Check your grade book.
My mom's like, she knew it was you, but she couldn't do anything. I was like, I know, that was the best part.
That's hilarious.
She hated me. She hated me after that. That was math, obviously. If it weren't obvious, I guess. I think it was that was like 8th grade math. So that was like
algebra or something.
Algebra 1, maybe something like that.
Yeah, you got away with cheating in an important class.
I didn't really get away with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure she managed to get all the grades.
You got off on a technicality.
See, I don't know what she did with the grades, because she would have had no way of. Maybe she could go back and find the test somewhere kept and like get the scores correct. But that seems like way too much busy work for her to actually do. So I have no idea how she graded us all if she doesn't know what our true test scores were on like 3 or 4 tests apiece.
Maybe
I have no idea
what she did before. Like if you erase a 5 and put a 7 in there, you can kind of make it out. Maybe.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly how I changed it, but I definitely was like boosting several of us up, like not the hundreds. I'm not insane, but
Yeah.
you know, like making bad grades into good grades.
Finster, did you ever cheat in school?
Yeah, I mean, I had the most boring cheating story because there was, again, like a language class, and you had to, it was like a recognition or like a memory test. So you wrote down a big thing in French, and then you give it to your teacher, and you just read it back from memory. But it's French, so it's bullshit. So he just slid the paper. I was having trouble, so he just turned it around. He was like, you know this. You know the answer to this. They just let us cheat. So my French scores went like, in that test, I got like, we did a few of those. So like 3 A's. And then the test where we all have to sit in a hall writing down all the notes was like D's. So I averaged a C. So it was solid.
That guy was cool. He hooked you up.
Great. We had like 5 different French teachers. They kept quitting, and in like dramatic ways too. We made a lot of teachers cry. Not me. I'm a very nice person, but I went to a terrible school.
what were some of the crying teachers started by?
Oh, we had like a, would you call it like home ec? It's the cooking teacher.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the ways the bullshit subject. But she was this like really, I don't want to be mean, but she was like this really old, like decrepit. She had like if you were going to draw a cartoony character of like Hag, like she had one front tooth that was really big, but in yellow opposed to the other ones. She had a mole. She had the stereotypical Brit. She had a mole with a hair on it and shit. And people would just bully her about it.
Oh, I haven't plucked that.
Oh, you have to pluck her hair.
Yeah, let me get that for you.
Yeah, are you plucking the hair or the tooth in this story?
I'm getting the mole. I'm getting the whole mole.
Little nail clipper thing.
Oh,
I remember a keyboarding teacher, like middle school. They make you do typing. It was like in middle school typing, I guess. Yeah,
you got a class on typing.
Yeah, in middle school, it was like, all right, you're going to learn how to type and everything. And so they give you like those orange plastic pieces of rubber that you lay on top of your keyboard, and then you tap away. And it was fucking keyboarding, so it was easy. Pretty much everyone was like knew how to type. But this teacher was morbidly obese, and I took the class twice, and because it was just a class, they just put you back in sometimes. And she had the same Band-Aid on her face in the same area for years. The same Band-Aid on her cheek, on her face. And there became like rumors about what that Band-Aid was covering for this keyboard teacher. And like you could talk to your friend in that class and be like, hey, what do you bet I can get her to come over to my desk? And it was like, you think you're going to get her to stand up? I'll take that bet for anything, dude. And then you just be like, Miss Smith, I don't know how to type. And she's like, you'll figure it out. just sitting in her chair. She would not fucking get up from her chair. I think I saw her stand 1 or 2 times ever. She was never at the assemblies where like we'd have to sing about God and shit, not standing there. Like just, she lived and kind of rotted into that chair.
Nice.
And everyone taught themselves how to type by playing that fun game where like a word shows up on an asteroid and you have to type the word real quick before it destroys your ship, your
That's
alien
so
ship.
fun.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I didn't get to play that game until high school. See, I learned in middle school too, and we had typewriters. We learned on typewriters. Yeah.
No.
But the thing about a typewriter is you can't cheat on that bitch. You either learn to type or you don't. Like you like and you like pull your piece of fucking paper out of that bitch when you're done and show it to somebody and they're like, this is pathetic. like, I don't know how to type.
Typewriter. You look young for an 80-year-old.
I know, right? No, they were mechanical typewriters too. So like when
The whole pitching, like pull it back.
No, not even. They had the rods that.
yeah, like it did everything's mechanical. It was fun, but no, we that's how I learned to type.
Oh,
I did
like
the
my
opposite.
keyboard.
When I was young, they didn't teach everyone how to type yet. That wasn't a common skill that like every kid had. So I would write out my papers, and my father would have his secretary just like. What was 2 hours of typing for me was like 60 seconds for somebody qualified. And she would just light speed, like transpose it to typing. And that's what I would hand in.
I remember that too. Like doing book reports in like grade school. It wasn't writing about Huck Finn that stressed me out. It was like, oh, this is 4 paragraphs. Oh, I got to type this tonight. All right, we got to buckle down. Period, space, enter, and then like every once in a while you accidentally hit the insert key and you don't know what that means. Now it's eating up all the other text when you try.
When I hit a letter, that went on the paper. There was no room for error in my typing.
I specifically remember a time when I was in like 5th grade that neither my mom or my dad or me knew what the insert key was on Word. And so I was just accidentally in the very beginning of my paper, and I had to like look ahead and rewrite the whole thing because it was just inserting the words. And I was like asking my dad and mom, like, please, what do I do? I'm so close. And they're like, you're gonna have to retype it. And
I remember I knew a guy, it wasn't me or anyone in my family, but he didn't know, like, you know, that your cursor gets behind a letter and he didn't know how to delete it. He didn't know how to move the cursor forward and go and then delete it again. So he would just keep going until he ran into that letter. Then he'd go forward and use the letter that he had been pushing this whole time.
Oh, come on. I need something with a K. Something with a K.
Exactly.
That was so funny. Yeah, I can remember that now. I haven't thought about that in years, like getting really stressed out about having to type stuff on the computer in grade school because it was just an insurmountable task, it felt like. And you're 10, and so you can see the sunlight outside and hear the other kids in the neighborhood playing in the woods and stuff while you're in there.